and we will underway. So Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening everyone. Welcome to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. Let's get started by taking the blessings of God and Guru like we always do. So let me share my screen. All right. So let's get started. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All right, Radhe Radhe everyone. A very warm good morning, good evening to all of you. So welcome to today's session. Today we are going to do a recap quiz and talk about what is true success. So in recap, I've over to you, Rahul. You can post the questions. We'll give a few minutes to all the participants to respond, and then we will get the discussion underway for today. So thank you for posting the questions. All right, we have about 4 or 5 questions that you can take a look at and start responding. Encourage everybody to take this quiz to test your understanding. We're going to have a little bit of discussion on it as well, just so that the concepts are reinforced and we do understand it very clearly without any ambiguity. All right, so while we have the questions, do we have any thing that you wanted to share about? By the way, Vandana ji, if you have joined, you wanted to talk about the spiritual journal, I'll be in touch with you to tell you about that. And then there is a daily tracker also that we are going to talk about today, which is a great tool for all of us that we can utilize for things that we want to work on and measure the progress by logging in, whether we are succeeding or failing on a day-to-day basis. So when multiple people, they do it and we make it public and there's a commitment that automatically comes. So we're going to talk about that later. But for the spiritual journal, let's talk more about it. I'll reach out to you offline and then can share that with you. And Hemangini ji, thank you for sharing your experience over the tracker. It's good to see that you're able to put these learnings and teachings to practice at work, and you are reaping the benefits of it, which is very heartening and encouraging to know. All right, so with that said, we have the poll on your screen. You can take the poll, start putting in your how many people? 5 out of 34. So we'll give a little bit of time for you to settle down and start taking the poll. I would encourage everybody to take the poll to test out your understanding. There are 4 questions today. There are 4 questions today that you can.
Can I make some announcements?
Sure, please go ahead. Let's utilize this time for announcements as well while everybody's taking the polls.
One of the major announcements is about Swamiji's Delhi and Gurgaon too. So right now he's in Delhi, Gurgaon from April 6th to April 10th. So I will post that link in the chat. Please feel free to attend those satsangs in the evening, I believe. So the link is there now in the chat. And apart from that, the other announcement is about the family camp, which will be held in the Radha Krishna, which will be held in RKT Dallas from 4 to 10 July 2023. And you will be also able to register it on in person or online. So that option will be there later. So I just posted that also in the chat. And the other announcement we have is about our Sunday satsang live from RKT Dallas. So you can always join that on the Zoom platform. I will post the link shortly on the chat also.
Thank you, Rahul.
Anything else, Nitinji, you wanted to add? Anything happening in the temple during this weekend?
There is one more announcement about the tour.
Okay.
For new people in Dallas, there's a tour at the temple. They can visit, they can socialize, they can learn about temple activities. This is on Saturday, if I'm not wrong. We can post that as well. I think it's there in the tracker document.
Are you able to see the poll right now? I'm not able to.
You can click on the polls, Nitinji, because you're a co-host, you will not see it.
Okay,
like,
okay,
all
got
the
it.
time.
I can see it now. So we've got 24 out of 39 who have already participated. So we'll give you a few more minutes to complete the poll, as we have newer participants, they join in as well. So 63%, 64% participation is there. Please do put in your poll responses, because we are going to discuss these questions and then we will pick up a topic about what is true success. This is a very important topic, and we will look at it in through a very engaging discussion around that topic. So please give the poll. It should not take much time. I would encourage you to take it. We should have a participation close to 100%, at least 80 to 90%, because all of you have been fairly regular in these sessions. So give it a shot and test out your understanding on these polls.
And there is one more announcement about the International Gita Festival that will be happening from April 10th to April 16th. I will share the link shortly where you can register and then attend that from the comfort of your home.
Right, and there's going to be an amazing session on science and spirituality. Okay, don't miss out on that. And when you'll see some of the faces there, you'll say, we have seen them before. It might be a feeling of deja vu for you, that been there, done it. Strongly encourage you to check it out. All right, I don't know which date it's going to be. Hopefully we'll get that information and I'll let you know in advance. But if anybody comes to know about it, do let us know as well. We have people who have all the information, so maybe they can let us know. All right, we'll give 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. I see 30 out of 43, which is a 72% of people have responded, which is good. And I still see some more people joining in. So please do take this opportunity to complete the poll, record in your responses, test your understanding, whether, yes, Sandhya, you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to ask if Urvi is here and if she wants to share the daily activity tracker results.
Yes, let's utilize this time if you are there. While people are recording in their responses, we can utilize that time to talk about the daily activity tracker and save some time.
Yeah, Urvi, if you're here and if you are ready for that, you can tell me and you can raise your hand.
Yeah, I just unmuted you, Urvi. Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. So, can I share the results as well?
Yes. Do you want? We can make you co-host.
Results for yeah, go ahead, please. Poll will not be disturbed, right? Poll will continue.
Yeah.
Hope so. Yeah.
So I'm going to stop share and let Urvi take control.
Okay.
All right, for those of you who are joining, please take the poll. We have 35 out of 45 people who have responded. So there's still some opportunity for you to participate. And so now we have close to 50 participants who have joined. You all can take poll. Yeah, Urvi, you wanted to talk about it?
Yeah, so Sandhya, if you can share the screen. No, I'll open it. Just a minute.
Do you want me to open it, the Canva thing? I can look for it and open it. In the meanwhile, you can start saying.
Okay, so it's like for the daily activity tracker, there are 2 things. One, to develop a good habit, and we can also overcome something which we don't want to indulge into. So there are 2 things I want to do and things I don't want to do. So you can actually, there's a tracker which we've created, and you can actually enroll your name in that. And then there are dates given in the tracker. So if you are able to keep up with your commitment on a particular day, then you can add yes. And if you're not able to do that, then you have to write failed. And at the end of the month, we just take up all the results and then announce the winners in the class as well. And this also helps us to kind of keep a track of whether we are able to bring in new habits and overcome the old bad habits which we want to overcome anyways. And because many people are filling it up, so when we write failed every day, then it kind of starts to embarrass us only. So that way it's a very helpful thing, and I think everybody should enroll their names. I've also done that, and there are many people who are doing that as well. And we have the results for the month of March ready. So
That is there on Canva, right, Urvi?
yeah, it's there. And
Just
let me see.
Is that the one with, okay, I'll just share, you tell me if that's the correct one.
Let's share it quickly and then we can get started.
Is this right, Urvi?
Yes.
You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it.
Do you want to say something? I can't hear.
If you could share it completely first, we just have the winners.
Yeah, if you have to click through the got it thing, we are not able to see that, Sandhya. You can sort it out and then we can get started.
Okay. I guess we can do that. I'm not
Okay.
sure. Yeah,
You
we
check
can
it
do
out
this.
what's going on. We'll
Yeah,
get started then. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll now. I think we've got a pretty good participation, 78%. Let's quickly talk through the questions and answers. And then I'm going to end the poll. All right. So let's start with the first question. It says dash is the root cause of all the sufferings. And hint is also given, Ajnanamevasya mool karanam. And the majority has gone with ignorance, which is right. Overwhelming majority has given the right answer. It's not laziness. One of you has given laziness. Somebody has given procrastination. Nobody has given lethargy. But ignorance is agnya. Gyan means ignorance. So Vedvyas has written that it's the ignorance that we have which is the root cause of all other problems. Right? That forms the basis of other problems that we feel. We consider ourselves as a body, not the soul. Then we start considering our bodily associates as our true associates or relatives. And then we start considering the goal of our life as the acquisition of things which are required for the body or the sensual pleasures. We start seeking happiness in those objects. And all the things, they stem from the fact that the ignorant part where we consider ourselves as a body and the pursuit of happiness for the body, not for the soul, as a goal of our life. And that keeps on compounding the problems. So the first answer is right. Ignorance is the root cause. And that's why we are sitting here trying to learn the concepts and principles and correct our defective thinking. Defective thinking is the root cause of our problems. Because when we feel stressed out, we have anxiety, we have emotional problems, it's all born out of ignorance, considering ourselves as this mind body complex, while our true identity is much deeper. So that was the first one. Second question was, please pick up the odd one out. The ripened fruit of the scriptures is free from. Okay, fruit, you did not put sugar as an option. Okay. Dharma, bhakti, artha, and moksha. So again, there is a split verdict. Most have gone with moksha, then arth, and then dharma. And somebody, 6 of you, which is half a dozen, have gone with bhakti as well. Now, it's not free of bhakti, but it is full of bhakti actually. It's the other way around. It is ripened, first of all, the ripened fruit of scriptures is called Bhagavatam, Mahapuran. And Bhagavatam, Mahapuran is called Kaitav Rahit. It is free from 4 defects. What are those 4 defects? Dharam. Dharam is a defect. Okay, dharam is a great thing at a material body level. But when you start getting deeper into spirituality, dharam is also a defect. It is also something which is not perfect. Second is karam. Even the karam part is defective. Dharam, karam, arth. Arth is basically related to the the swat that we try to fulfill through our bodily things. I think deeper meaning, I'll have to look a little bit more on that. And the fourth one is the moksha. Even the moksha, liberation, is defective. Moksha is something which is a spiritual desire. But moksha is also defective in the sense that it is also a selfish spiritual desire. Bhakti is called Kaitav Rahit. It goes, which is much deeper. When you reject moksha, bhukti and mukti both, that's when you get. Yes, Ashutosh, you wanted to add something to that?
No, actually, I don't want to add anything. I think this one is said big odd one out. That's why I choose bhakti. That's what I'm saying. Because dharma, moksha, these are the
Okay, yeah, that's pick the odd one out. In that case, bhakti is right. Perfect. Yeah. Sorry, Rahul.
Good. Not free. Yeah. I think.
It's a tricky question. Yeah, I read it the other way. That bhakti is an odd one out because it is part of the ripened fruit of scriptures. So bhakti is the only thing, and dharma, arth, moksha, and even karma is included as one of the defects. So good call out, Ashutosh, in that sense. So yes, bhakti is the only thing. When you get bhakti, when you reject both bhakti and mukti, and dharma and karma are also at a bodily level. Okay, only these are the instructions given to people who are at the initial stage of spirituality. Right? That's how Lord Krishna starts in Bhagavad Gita. For us, dharma and karma itself is a big deal. Actually, it is a good deal to start with, but not something that when you start getting into the depths of bhakti, then these things take a backseat at that point. So it's a very good question. The third one is Bhagavad Gita imparts Brahma Vidya and teaches the practice of yoga. Majority of you have said yes, true. Some have said maybe. Some said false. So whoever has said true are right. Bhagavad Gita is called, it has Brahma Vidya, which means understanding the Brahm, which is God. Not the Brahm, but Brahm. And then it is also Yoga Shastra, which is practical implementation of it. Both aspects are covered in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, who is God? How do we attain God? What are the different paths to God? That philosophy, theory is there. And at the same time, it also talks about the practical implementation. What do you need to do on a day-to-day life? So it is called Brahma Vidya plus Yoga Shastra. And that is what we are reading. Okay. The last question is, which of these can be categorized into the category of ignorant people? I'm too busy. Scriptural knowledge is all common sense. I know it is all blind faith, and all of the above. So majority has said all of the above, and that is the right answer for this. Yes. So when we say I'm too busy, that also comes from a sense of ignorance. Okay, nobody's too busy. Basically, you are too busy because who said that? I think Ramdas said we are actually too busy holding on to our unworthiness, which is a pretty strong statement, but that is the fact. Actually, nobody's too busy, and it is said that replace I'm too busy with this is not my priority, and see how it feels. It will put things in perspective. Nobody can be too busy. It's just that it is not a priority. So it is born out of ignorance. And there's another saying in English, it says, if you want something to get done, give it to the busiest person. They'll get it done. Right? Because they just know how to manage time and they are able to prioritize things. So I'm too busy is not a good argument. It comes from ignorance. Scripture knowledge is all common sense. Of course, it is ignorant statement. Nobody has picked it up, which is good. I know it is all blind faith. That is also born out of ignorance. It is scientific in that sense. You start with the premise, you have some observations, and then you draw some conclusion out of it. So there's a very scientific approach you can take even with the spiritual knowledge. It is not something which is all blind faith. I would say it is a little more intelligent faith than the faith that we take on our intellect or on the opinion of people or what Google tells us or what we have heard from elders or what people would like you to believe. Okay, so that is more shaky faith. All of the above is the right answer. All right, so with that, we have covered this. Now I wanted to move on to another interesting topic that I wanted to cover today. Hope nobody has any question on any of these questions. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now and we'll get into the topic of our discussion today. So Friday, we utilize this opportunity to talk about stuff, which is, interesting topics. We pick it up, which are more like we take the main dose or the main, what you call that medicine over the weekdays, and then the supplements over the, Friday or the weekend eve when we have those supplements do help us in nurturing a right mindset or appreciate what we are doing so that we can continue learning and reading this. Now let's get started. What is true success? Anybody who wants to take this question? Now I know there are a lot of hardcore devotees here. They will give a textbook definition immediately, right? All right, and still I would like to hear it from somebody. You can raise their hand, and yes, Sri Ramya, please go ahead. What is true success? I Googled it up as well, okay? And this is something, a lot of good definitions came up. Yes, Sri Ramya, you wanted to say something?
I think her voice is not there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
audible now?
yes, you're audible.
As per Swamiji, that
The voice is not coming, Sri Ramya. You may have to fix it or rejoin. Let's
Yeah.
move on to the next one. Sam, you wanted to say that?
Swamiji said that inner growth is the true success.
Oh my God, look at her. Perfect definitions always. Yes, Pallavi ji.
Correct.
Yes, Pallavi.
Good evening, everyone. Radhe Radhe Nitinji. So I'm also quoting Swamiji's book about successes to feel good, to do good, and to feel good and to do good.
There's
that-
another good, okay, I'll bring into the mix, okay.
and
So,
to feel the peace
Mhm.
as well.
Good, very nice. Thank you, Pallavi ji. We'll take maybe one more hand and then we'll continue with our discussion. Yes, Romanta ji, you wanted to add something?
To realize our true potential is the true success.
Very true. That is also called true success. So we'll look at the, yes, Sandhya, you wanted to add something? Thank you, Sumanta ji.
I think one thing is success is about achieving something, right? So achieving the goal that we have set in our life. So as the biggest goal is to realize God. So I would say that is the true success.
That is the highest goal, right? We will start with the mundane definition today and then see how it can be a stepping stone basically around that. But yeah, very true. Yes, Rahul, you wanted to add something and one more hand.
I have two comments in the chat. Prabhat ji says when growth comes along with ethics and spirituality is the real success. And I think Hemangini ji added that other good, be good, to the other definition. Yeah, like the three goods. So yeah.
Very true. Yes, thank you. Yes, Monica ji.
Radha everybody. True success is finding a place in Golok.
Wow. Perfect definition of finding a place in Golok. There cannot be any bigger success than that for sure. But I would refine a definition further to say finding Brajras. Okay, so
Brajas.
within Brajaras also Gopi Bhav, right? So yeah, we can keep on refining this definition for sure. Yes, Urvi, you wanted to say something? Last one, and then we'll continue with our discussion.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that for different people, success can have different definitions, but at last we have to leave everything over here only. So if we can accumulate those things which will be carried forward with us in the upcoming lives as well, that is the spiritual wealth. as much as we are able to accumulate it, the more successful we are in life.
Very true. See, it's a very philosophical and a beautiful definition that you gave, right? We can, all the real treasures are what we can actually carry forward in our coming lifetimes. And those are the treasures, the inner adornments that we can go with, and which is nothing but building spiritual assets. Beautiful definition. Last one, Shashiji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe Nitinji, to reach to our highest goal, we have to purify our mind. Only then we can reach to the highest goal, any goal.
Very true. That's the only way. Very true. Beautiful. Thank you, Shashiji. So now let's look at it. If you Google it up, right, there is a universal intention of humankind to succeed. We all want to succeed. And let's look at, what people think what is success is. Mr. Deepak Chopra, he says that success in life could be defined as the continued expansion of happiness and the progressive realization of worthy goals. Okay, that is Deepak Chopra. It's a very profound definition. Now, for Mr. Warren Buffett, he says that I measure success by how many people love me. It's a very nice way of looking at success as well. Then Stephen Covey, right, the guy who wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he said, if you carefully consider what you want to be said of you in the funeral experience, you will find your definition of success. Pretty amazing. Write your obituary. What you would like to read in your obituary would tell you how successful your life has been, right? The dynamite man, Alfred Nobel, he read his own obituary, but actually his brother had died. But when he read that, people had written, they thought this guy had died. And in his obituary, they wrote, Dynamite Man died. And he was like, oh my God, this is the kind of legacy I'm leaving behind, where people will remember me for creating something as explosive as dynamite. And that's where he said, okay, I better do something, about it. And he instituted a fund. And in the due course of time, we know that Alfred Nobel, under his name, through his name, that Nobel Prize, Peace Prize, got instituted. So he changed the course of how he wanted to be perceived, just because he got the benefit of reading his own obituary while he was alive. But that is a good way to measure your success. What would people write or talk about you when you are gone? All right, next one is success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. That is Mr. Winston Churchill who said that. And then Richard Branson, what does he say? The more you are actively and practically engaged, the more successful you will feel. So the point here is very contextual. Too many lenses that we can employ to state what is success on, or to view what is success. And it could mean different things for different people. And yet that definition is not very all-encompassing, which can be universally applied. You say, if you do this, are you feeling more successful or good or fulfillment about what you have done? That definition somehow doesn't come out, right? Until come across Swamiji, being Swamiji, right? The definition that he has given, just apply it and see, does it give you a sense of satisfaction and that sense of that, yeah, this makes sense. You, no matter what you do, if you feel these three criteria, you fit in these 3 criteria, of course you are successful. And for all these definitions that we have looked at today, or maybe more, right? It is not all encompassing as well. Different people have said much more things about many things about what success is. If you apply that 3 filter test, you would say even they would agree that, okay, end of the day, if these 3 things are happening, all these definitions would eventually should lead you to that at some point in time. And what is that? Let's look at it. Let's look at it now. So we all need to feel good. That is the real thing. No matter what you're doing, you cannot term it as a success unless you are experiencing happiness, satisfaction, or a sense of fulfillment about it. Can you say you are successful? If you apply all the definitions in the previous page that you looked at, but if it doesn't lead us to make feeling good, then it's not success. End of the day, all of our endeavors are to feel good, feel satisfied, feel that joy, feel that peace. All of us are looking for that only. right? And to that end, we keep on finding things around us that we think is going to give us happiness. So feel good is the key thing. Okay, we have to feel good, and that experience of happiness and satisfaction in life. Then, in order to feel good, you have to do good. That is how universe is designed. You cannot feel good if you're not doing good. It is just not possible. You may have a blip, or what you call a blip of an agitated mind that you may think of as happiness, but that is not happiness. Okay, that is something which is not lasting, so it will go away. So only when you do good will you feel good. That is a very simple law in this universe. People, when they give things, when they do philanthropic deeds, that satisfaction that they get is much higher level than otherwise when they get by indulging in things like intoxication or other things, right? That is not bliss truly. So you have to feel good by doing good. And then in order for you to do good, you have to be good. You cannot be a bad person doing good. That is also something that will not happen. A good action, the breeding ground for good action is a good or a purified mind, like Shashiji said. For us to do good, we first have to align to principles which are truly good. Now you say my definition of good is like this, and everybody has their own definition of good. No, that is not definition, that is opinion. What is good is very clearly stated in our scriptures. If you do this, these are the principles you align to, that's only you become good. And being good is a function of a purified mind. And purification is only possible when you attach your mind to something pure. Okay. Now, if you look at it, it all starts from feel good to experience happiness and satisfaction in life, do good to do the best we can in the works we undertake, and be good to become the best we can be. Now, be good covers that definition. We are reaching our best potential. What is our potential as a soul? Infinite. Infinite. Okay. And I would say that definition of the best that we can become, like Monica had said, that to go to Golok, of course, only when you are good, you truly purified, will you get a chance to go to Golok. What do good would be, it says, do the best we can in the works we undertake. You know, the best thing that one can do is service to God, direct service to God. And of course, feel good is a natural consequence of being good and doing good. That is how it goes. That is true success. Now, we don't have to think so far ahead. We say, okay, let's be practical. You're talking about Golok, and I'm here in this world taking care of family and job and all that stuff. Fine, that is perfectly okay. Even in that, we need to be aligning to these three principles. The way we go about our work, becoming the best version of ourselves at the work, it is again a function of a purified mind. If your mind is all diluted, contaminated, thinking about politics, thinking about negative things, finding faults in people, getting bitter, envious, you cannot be good. It's very simple. Then you cannot be good. Your mind is not purified. How can you do good? You will only have dirt to dish out to the world, right? It's like that garbage truck. Wherever it goes, it will only throw garbage. And if the truck has flowers, it will throw flowers. So you cannot do good. And when you are not being good or doing good, how can you feel good? You will be depressed, sad, irritated, frustrated, venting out stuff throughout the day. So they are all interlinked. Now, the first, thought, Swamiji has given this very beautiful quotation. I love it. Like brick by brick, we build a building. Thought by thought, we are forging our destiny. Okay, it's a very powerful statement. Every thought you are actually forging. We said, right? We are the authors of our destiny. Our past karma become our present prarabdha, and our present karma, which also constitute of our thoughts, becomes our future prarabdha. So every moment, every second of our life, we are forging our destiny. We are writing it through a pen. Now, whether you are writing a poem or you're writing a very bad essay, the choice is always with us, right? So thought by thought, we are forging our destiny. Now, if we go a little deeper here, be good, do good, right? And as a consequence, you'll feel good. How does it happen, right? Reading Bhagavad Gita that we are doing, taking refuge in scriptures, taking guidance from a saint, guru, is the process to actually be good and do good. And if you do not purify your mind, you do not work on that, you will continue to be your present version, maybe even worse as the life progresses, because then we are working in our default autopilot gunas. And those gunas will only drive us downwards unless we mindfully utilize those gunas for our betterment or transcend those gunas for our spiritual growth. We have no control over gunas otherwise. So for us to be good and do good, we have to take refuge of scriptural knowledge, which is called bona fide knowledge, which we have to understand through a saint or his commentary, like we are doing right now on a day-to-day basis. Okay, that is more important. So this whole exercise that we are doing on a day-to-day basis should enable us to become better version of ourselves. When we become better versions of ourselves, of course, the undertakings that we will do in the world around will also become better. And because of these two things, will automatically feel good. So that is taking us closer to the definition of success as humans. Yes, Sam, you had a question?
I just wanted to know the poll. It would be nice at this point if you put a poll or raise hands. How many people are feeling that you are talking about themselves?
Talking about themselves means? Okay.
About them.
About them?
Huh.
Okay.
Like suppose when you are talking, I'm feeling like you're directly targeting at me. So many people might feel that I want to know how many people.
All right, let's take a quick poll. Who said that, okay, you're talking about me only. I can raise my hand, myself as well. Please, by show of hand, you can show me that. There is the option I can. How many hands are there? Let's check it out. Did anybody feel that you're talking about, targeting me? You're talking about myself only? Okay, I don't know where's that option for me to raise the hand. I felt that as well, because to become the best version of ourselves, doing good and then feeling good, they're all interrelated, and there's a lot of work to be done. At least I personally feel that. Quite a few people. Okay, Sam, you are in good company, okay? Not in bad company, I must say that. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's a good reflection on us, because even as a devotee, there's always a sense of, there's so much more to be done. But the good news is that we are putting in our endeavors to be good and do good, and feel good will automatically happen. And it's a litmus test for us as well. Are we feeling good, for most part of our day, or always having negative things going on in our head? And if you're not feeling good, that's a sure shot sign that our mind is impure. And of course, we are not capable of doing good around. Very sure shot sign of that. That is why it is said, whenever we perform an action, the proof is in the pudding. The feeling immediately after performing that action would tell us whether you aligned with the will of God, or you did something which your intuition or your soul did not sanction. That feeling will tell you that something was not right. That is how it works. Okay, so I'll just quickly, I know we have a presentation from Shri Ramya coming up. One more thing I wanted to cover. When life applies a squeeze, what is likely to come out of you is a very important thing. If you're not aligning to these principles, you continue to be a better person. See, adversity brings out the best in some, and adversity brings out the worst in some. And when life applies a squeeze, would you like lemon juice to come out of you, or would you like grape juice to come out of you? Your choice is always yours. So by trying to become good and do good, you are even changing your intrinsic qualities, that inner adornments, and those will be put to test when the going gets tough. The moment adversity would come, a tough situation would come, your nature would get revealed, and that is a good test for us to see how far we have progressed. Do I still have better things that are coming out of me, or they are getting better or sweeter with time? So that is a great test to see whether we are progressing or we are regressing. All right, with that, we can take a couple of questions, and then over to you, Shri Ramya, because we have a wonderful presentation coming up. I wanted to give her a clear 10 to 15 minutes. Real quick questions then.
Radhe Radhe Ji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Actually, if we consider ourselves as an individual, for the matter of successful, you take example of the seed. it's not the potential, seed potential to be highlighted to make him a fruit without the support of environment, ecological, and the farmer to take care of everything. So it's a matter of gratitude. It's a natural process that we get success or failure. The example, what you have said, be good, feel good, do good, is the correct one. And we can cite an example of Ravana in Ramayana, when all monkeys thrown the stones by subscribing the Ram on it, and it was floating. The news went to the Ravan, and Ravan said, what is the big about it? I will also do it. So one day he called everybody and brought a big stone, and he put the nothing was there. He shown everything to everybody that nothing is subscribed on that Ram or anything, and he put it, thrown it to the pond, and it was floating. Everybody was felt happy, and everybody clapped him appreciatively. But in the night, when he was going to sleep, bad time, the Mandodari recognized that there was no happiness on his face. So Mandodari asked Ravan that I found that you were not happy. Everybody was happy. Everybody was clapping. Ravan says that in my mind, while throwing, I chanted the Ram, Ram, Ram. And that is how this stone has floated. So the moral of story is that feel good can happen just like a seed. You are seed, you should be supported by ecological environment as well. Sabka saath, sabka vikas. That is the mool mantra given by our PM. Radhe
Beautiful.
Radhe.
Thank you for sharing that, Ajit. Very nice. Okay, over to you, Shri Ramya. You wanted to show some presentation. Let's do that. Bottom line, the key message was that your happiness, the level of your understanding, the wisdom that you acquire, the peace that you feel from within, the joy factor, it is directly proportional to the quality or the purity of your mind. So the buck stops at you. It's a very simple principle. If you're not happy, you don't have a pure mind. Okay, that lot more work is needed. If you don't feel the joy, or if the knowledge doesn't stick, again, the quality of mind has to be proved. So the buck stops at us to improve the quality of our mind, and everything else will follow. The feel good will automatically come when we truly become good and truly know, how to do good in our undertakings as well. All right, over to you, Shri Ramya. I'm looking forward to your presentation now. So let's give her a good audience now. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot, Nitinji, Radhe Radhe. Before I start, I wanted to tell that I'm no way eligible to say the story or present. It is only by the opportunity given by Nitinji that I'm making a small attempt. So in case of any mistakes in the story or something, please forgive me. Saying that, let me start. So I was reading a story from Srimad Bhagavatam, and before the actual Bhagavatam began, there were a few stories from the Padma Puran which would tell about the Bhagavat Mahatya, which would emphasize the hearing of Bhagavatam. So one story which really touched me and which I felt that I should share with all of you is the story of Gokarna and Dhundakari. So the story goes like this. So in a village near Tungabhadra, there was a Grihastha Brahmin, and his name is Atmadev. While he was blessed with everything and he had everything, but he did not have a son, he did not have children. So he was extremely distressed with it. So he would go, one day he went into the forest out of distress. He was roaming around. He almost went mad. At that time, he found a rishi, he found a saint. And the saint would inquire from him, why are you so sad? What happened? And he tells that everything is okay, but I'm not having a son and I don't feel like taking my life ahead from here. So the saint looks at his forehead and he said that from the lines of your forehead, forget about this life. you would not have a son. You would there's no a son for you in the next 7 lives also. There are no children for you in the next 7 lives. And he said that why are you thinking that that son will bring you happiness? Start your spiritual journey. The spirituality will bring you much more happiness. But at this station where Atmadev was situated, he did not understand the message, and he was crying terribly. And he was only looking at the thing that I wouldn't have son for next this life, next 7 lives. He said, I'll jump into the well and I'll give up my life. I can't live, or I can't take my life further. And the same, he will say that, oh, how can I explain you? How can I tell you? Even if I'm telling, you're not understanding. And he said, okay, it's up to you. And he gives him one apple. And he says that, you asked your wife to have this apple, and you guys will have a child soon. And Atmadev would feel very happy. He would give his obeisances to the saint, and he will leave the place. And this is Dundari, and this is Atmadev's wife. And she was not situated at a spiritual level, but she was situated more on terms of the level of the body. So Atmadev goes, he tells her the story, and he gives her the apple. So what Dhundali starts thinking is, what if I have an apple, and what if I were to have a child? What if I start conceiving? Then my stomach will will grow big. I would have to take a lot of pains, and I will have a lot of pain during childbirth. And she would start having these kinds of thoughts. So Dhundali has a sister. So this is Dhundali's sister. So she discusses this with her sister. So her sister will tell, why do you worry? So the sister would have conceived, and she would have told her that you pretend pregnancy. You just tell them, and you enact as though you're having a child. And after 9 months, I will give my child to you. And in this way, everybody will, you will save yourself from the pain of childbirth. And you could have my baby, but she would tell that you will have to pay my husband some money for this, and then we'll give you our child. So Dhundali would be happy, so she will agree to this. And now Dhundali will ask, but what about the apple which was given to her by her husband? So what Dhundali does is, she takes the apple and she gives it to the cow in the backyard. So the cow has the apple. Now enter 9 months. So Dhundali sister would have delivered the baby, and she would have given that to Dhundali, and all the while she was pretending to be having a child. And she says that I got a child. And she also says that since I've not been getting milk, and my sister's baby passed away, let me get my sister with me to stay with me. So in that way, feeding of the baby has also been taken care. In the meanwhile, so Atmadev becomes very happy that he got a son. And after some time, the cow would also deliver its baby. But the cow's baby will have all human features. It would have limbs like human. It has the hands, legs, and everything like human, except the ears. The ears are like that of a cow, but the baby was actually a human. So the boy of Dhundali's sister was named Dhundukari, and the baby boy of the cow was named as Gokarna, because Karna is ear, and the ear resembled that of cow, and that's why the other baby's name was Gokarna. And these babies started growing up. So as you can see, Dhundukari, he started becoming a bit wicked and evil. If you could see the picture, that represents how he was turning out to be. And Gokarna, on the other hand, he imbibed good values. He used to hear all the scripture from his father, Atmadev, and he went on this spiritual side since the childbirth. And this is how they grew up to be. So a few years would pass by. And Dhundukari, he would have committed a lot of burglary. He would be treating people badly. He would be moving around the village that way. And Atmadev would feel very sad. Everyone in the town, everybody would tell Atmadev what kind of son you have, and this is how he is. So he would feel so bad, and he would tell that there is nothing more painful than having a son like this. Better than this, I would have not had a son. And Atmadev cries very badly. And at that point of time, Gokarna comes, And he suggests Atmadev, he would tell him, why are you crying? What son? Whose son? This is just the infatuation of the world. Your true possession your true satsangi, your true beloved is God. So he would tell him, you must take sannyas, you must retire to the forest, and you must think as introspect on all these aspects and spend the rest of your life in that way. So on the suggestion of Gokarna, Atmadev leaves and Atmadev takes sannyas. And eventually Gokarna, okay, eventually what happens is this. So Dhundakari, he starts troubling his mother to give the money. He would even be thrashing her, and he would be treating her in a very bad way, asking her for the money. And one day what Dhundakari does is he would have threatened her mother. He would have told that if you don't give me money, I will hit you with the live coal, the live charcoal. I'll burn you with that, or I'll hit you with that if you don't give me money by tomorrow. So Dunduli would have been extremely terrified, and she would have gone through a lot of mental stress. And out of this fear, she jumps into the well and she commits suicide. And Gokarna, he just leaves the home. He's totally he doesn't have anybody as a friend or anybody as an enemy. And around that instant, either before or after, I'm not sure. So Gokarna also leaves the home, and he would have retired. I mean, he goes into the forest contemplating on God. So now Dundukari has the home by himself. So he starts getting into the bad association. He starts living with 4 prostitutes who keep demanding him for money, for jewels, and for everything. So Dundukari, he has anyways taken on this path, and he gets more into the path. He would be doing theft, he would be doing burglary, he would have even killed some people on their way to the pilgrimage to get money out of them, to satisfy them, to give money to them. And so what these 4 women would think is, anyways, he is doing a lot of theft and burglary, and now he even started doing murder. So the king would get to know of this. He will soon be punished. And along with this guy, we would also be punished. So they would have thought that better to kill this guy. So they will come up with a plot and to kill this person. So what they do is, when Dundukari is sleeping, they tie him up and just strangle him. But he wouldn't have died. He would still have the life left with him even after strangling. So the same strategy with Dundukari threatened his mother. So they would have got the live charcoal, and they put it in his throat. And with that, it would have very painful. And Dundukari, he left his body, and he left his body to become a prey. And when the villagers asked them what happened to the guy in the home, they would have told that he wanted to earn more money, so he left the village. He went into another village, and slowly these 4 women, they leave the home gradually, and they escape. Over a period of time, the villagers would have understood that this person is no more, and the news reaches Gokarna. So Gokarna performs a shraddh for his brother Dundukari in Gaya. And not only in Gaya, whatever pilgrimage he used to visit, he used to perform shraddh for Dundukari. And after a few years, Gokarna, he comes back to his home. He returns back to his village, and he starts living there. And one night, when he's sleeping in his home, he would hear very weird noises and very troubled noises. And he would see a pret in a very disgusting form and in a very terrifying form, making all sorts of noises. It's not able to speak, and it makes all sorts of terrible noises. So Gokarna would have understood that this is Dundukari. He'll take some water, he'll sanctify the water, and he'll sprinkle on that form. And he would start now with that, the pret is able to speak, and it is in a very terrible form. It cries terribly, and it tells that I'm in a very bad situation. Please help me somewhat. And it will confess. It will say that I have done all this burglary, I've done all this theft, I've killed holy men also, and no wonder I'm in this. But this is a very painful form to be in. Please somehow relieve me of this. Please do something. That and the pret begs Gokarna. And what Gokarna says is, I've already done the shraddh, and I have done the shraddh in Gaya. And in Gaya, should do the shraddh, any guy, he would be liberated of such forms. And even if that hasn't helped you, I really don't know what to do. I'm not sure what will be done. But but Dundukari in the Pret form, he will beg his mercy. He'll ask for forgiveness, and he'll tell, please do something about it. So Gokarna will tell, okay, let me contemplate on this, on what would be done. So Gokarna will visit many places. He would come across many saints and many holy men, and he would and rishis, and he would ask one of them what is to be done. So they said that even if the Shraddh in Gaya has not set him free, then there is only one thing which would help him, that is the Bhagavatam. Listening to Bhagavatam in the right mindset is very, very purifying. So they would insist Gokarna to give him a Bhagavatam discourse over a period of 7 days. So what Gokarna does is he listens to the instruction, he goes back to his village, and he announces that he's starting a Bhagavatam discourse over for a period of 7 days. And many other saints and many other holy men from many different places, not only that place, but different villages, they would have traveled, and they would want to listen to the Bhagavatam discourse.
2 minutes. We need to wrap it up because we have next session. So hopefully we can wrap it up in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So they were so the Pret of so the Pret of Dhundukari also comes there, and they would be listening to and he would be listening to the Bhagavatam, and at the end of the 7 days there would be a spiritual plane coming. The Vishnu Doots will come, and Dhundukari would have attained a very nice Vaishnava form like this. He would have been freed from the Pret form, and he gets this very nice Vaishnava form. So at this point of time, everybody would be happy. Everybody will start clapping their hands. But Gokarna is left with a doubt. So Gokarna asked the Vishnu Doots, see, everybody have come here from different places. It appears that all of those who have assembled here have listened in an equal measure. But why is it that only Dhundukari attained liberation? Or that how then the disparity came about in the matter of reward? Kindly explain this, O beloved saints of Sri Hari. So at this point of time, the servants of Sri Hari, they would have told this. I'm reading it exactly. The disparity in the matter of reward here has come about an account of diversity in hearing the exposition. Though it has been heard by all, it has not been reflected upon in an equal degree or intensity by everyone. Therefore, has this disparity resulted in the matter of reward in spite of the common devotion in shape of hearing the Lord's stories, or bestower of honor on others. So this really touched me. I was thinking that we have all been here. We have all been listening to Nitinji's classes and all other classes by JKO. But I was thinking that are we truly reflecting on it? So the reflection on what we heard, it really matters. So not reflected in equal degree of intensity by everyone. This was the answer which the saints would have given him. And that's why they told that Dhundukari he had heard it in, with full focus, and he has contemplated and reflected on it properly. And the saints will tell, and this is another thing which they tell, infructious, please read this very carefully, infructious is spiritual wisdom which is not firmly rooted. Hearing of scriptures is marred through listlessness. Counsel which is received with a doubting mind is lost. And fruitless is the muttering of a sacred text done with a restless mind. And so they would tell him, don't worry, you do this discourse again after some time, and the next time you do it, you contemplate and reflect on it fully, and Sri Krishna himself will come in a spiritual plane to take you. So this is what would be told to Gokarna, and Gokarna does the same thing. After a few months, he would give a Bhagavatam discourse again, and not only him and all the people in the village, so they would have got liberated. Sri Krishna comes, and he takes everybody to Golok. So now we are left with a big question. So from this story, what I understood is it's not just listening, but we have to reflect better on what we hear. So the big question is, what should we do to reflect better on what we hear? And since the time is up, we have some announcements. Maybe Sandhya ji would have. We could take it up in the next class. Thank you, and sorry for taking up this time.
No worries. Thank you for that beautiful story. I think you have set the context for us to make those announcements. I wish we had more time to spend on the key learnings from this story, but we'll pick up on this discussion on Monday because we want to do justice. So last 2 slides, Shri Ramya, we are going to discuss again on Monday. That will be a good segue for the announcements that Sandhya is going to make. But beautiful story. The key here is to have the focus and the intensity, and that would automatically come if we have Shraddha or faith on the words of scriptures and the words of Guru. So beautiful. I think it's going to good segue into what we are going to announce. Sandhya, let's do it on Monday. We'll have enough time. We can't rush through that. And also the last couple of slides that Sri Ramya did, I think that require a little bit of a discussion as well, in-depth discussion. And we can't do justice to it with a quick one. So thank you again, Sri Ramya, for that. And thank you everybody for a wonderful, engaging session. I look forward to seeing you next week. You can stay back for the next session. Radhe Radhe, good day, good evening from my side. Over to you, Sunil Bhai and Ajay.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.